Here's how I take photos in manual with only changing one camera setting. So for 80 to 90% of every photo shoot, I'm only changing one setting on my camera, and that setting is shutter speed. So how I do this is, in every situation I come into, the first question I ask myself is, what aperture do I want to use for these photos? Most often you're going to find me at an aperture of f2, but it really depends on what my subject is and how much of the photo I want to be in focus. Here's a few examples. For a portrait of an individual, I'll most often be at f2, and even for a photo of a couple, as long as their faces are close to on the same plane, I'll be at f2. For group photos of people, you'll find me anywhere from f4 to f5.6. If I'm doing something where I need the entire photo in focus, like architectural work or some landscape photos, you'll find me somewhere between f8 to f11. Now, once my aperture is set, the next thing I'm gonna do is know where my shutter speed needs to be. And what I mean is I wanna know what's the minimum shutter speed I can use for these photos to make sure I'm getting crisp photos. So to make sure you don't have blur from camera shake, make sure your shutter speed is 2 times your focal length. So this is a 50 millimeter, so I'm gonna make sure that my shutter speed is at least 1/100th of a second. 2 times 50 is 100. Now the other piece is making sure my shutter speed is fast enough for any actual motion in my photo. So a few rules that I use for this are, people are mostly still, like at an event where they're just talking to each other, I'll use 1/160th of a second. People are walking, I'll use 1/250th of a second. Or if people are running, I'll use 1/500th of a second or even faster. So once I know what my minimum shutter speed needs to be, I'm now going to set my ISO to make sure I can maintain that minimum shutter speed. For example, for the light that I'm in right now, which is just in my backyard, and I know I need to keep my shutter speed above 1/160th of a second, set my aperture to f2, and I've set my ISO to 100. Now in the direct sunlight, my shutter speed for proper exposure is 1/8000th of a second. And in the shade for proper exposure, my shutter speed is 1/320th of a second. So now, wherever I put my subject in this scene, I only have to adjust my shutter speed to get proper exposure. My name is Brian Rupp. I've been a professional photographer for 18 years now, and I started a group coaching program where I mentor photographers. The program just hit its 1-year anniversary, and I'm adding 5 more spots for people to join the program. If you're a photographer who actually wants to make money with a camera and you could use some support and you're interested in filling one of those 5 spots, send me a DM with the word inspired. Follow me for more tips on how to actually make money with a camera and how to make your very best photography work.